Jodhi May, welcome to CNN News 18.
Thank you.
Jodhi, you're playing the role of Empress Natalya in Dune Prophecy.
I am indeed.
And we see destruction of thinking machines in the show. Will the audience be able to relate to this idea when the world today is heading towards AI?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think it's one of the things that is so on the pulse and zeitgeisty about this series is that it's really an exploration that's very relatable into our anxieties about divesting authority generally, but also, in the wake of AI and what that's going to mean and whether it's going to mean, huge societal disruptive change. So it feels like, even though sometimes sci-fi can be somewhat abstract, this series in particular, really zooms into a very kind of current issue, I think.
So then, given that the series, of course, depicts destruction of thinking machine, is that why we don't see computers in Dune Prophecy, while we do see flying machines like orthognopters in the show?
My God, that's a very technical question. um, yeah, it's interesting. I guess my way of bringing that to life as an actor was to think of the thinking machines as being a little bit like AI. And it's this idea that once you let the genie out of the box, it's going to cause such chaos that the reality that the court and the world of the Imperium is set in now in terms of the series is it's trying to claw that back. It's had this incredible win in terms of stopping AI or thinking machines in its tracks. And seeing the mechanical lizard in episode one is really the beginning of that process starting to feel like it's in jeopardy.
You, of course, been working from over 3 decades now. The show is, of course, based on the bestseller Sisterhood of Dunes. Did you get a chance to read the book when you were preparing for your character?
So I did start trying to read it. It's pretty dense and it's really, I think, a great insight into the sisterhood if you're playing a character that is part of that particular kind of world. And I think for me, I found it much more useful to sort of go to women in medieval history, queens in medieval history, as a sort of imaginative reference point, because, so many of them were the power behind the throne. So that was my kind of creative process.
Well, talking about the medieval history, then not really medieval, but you, of course, have worked in a film called The Warrior Queen of Jhansi,
Yes, I
and
have.
you played the role of Queen Victoria in the film.
I did.
What is your most enduring memory of making that film?
I just felt really privileged to be part of that story because I felt it was so important. In England, we know very little of, that particular chunk of history, and for it to be told, by an Indian female director in such an extraordinary film, I thought, for me, felt a real privilege to be a part of that. So it was a real eye opener for me. I didn't know anything about it, and it's the most incredible story.
Then finally, did you get a chance to interact with Tabu at the New York premiere of Dune Prophecy?
I did. I absolutely love Tabu. I mean, we had a great time on set and on location. She's a real force of nature, and yeah, she was there absolutely the life and soul of the party last night.